Dr. Shabir Ali, welcome.
Pleasure to be on.
Now we've spent a few weeks going through the claims that Islamophobes make online. We just have to Google Islam and we'll come up with a whole bunch of them. So some of them that we've looked at is, do Muslims deceive? Is Sharia the boogeyman? Is Sharia law the boogeyman? Can Muslims be loyal citizens? Are Muslims immoral? Does the Quran demean women? Does the Quran promote terrorism? So what are your thoughts on all of the topics that we've looked at? What are your conclusions based on our discussions?
I think we have shown conclusively throughout this series that Muslims can be trusted, Muslims can be loyal citizens, and not only can be, but should be trustworthy persons, should be loyal citizens. Sharia is not a bogeyman. Sharia is there where it is established for the benefit of people and for establishing justice. It's what most democracies try to do now, establish peace and justice and fairness. That's what Sharia would do when it is established in a land, given the principles of the Quran applied in a modern context. And no, Muslims are not here to impose a traditional Sharia law on any part of the world, or to impose what they call Sharia law on any part of the world, because they live in democracies and they recognize that these are secular societies in which secular law governs for the benefit of all and to be inclusive to all. That is a welcome system that Muslims are leaving traditional Muslim societies in order to enjoy the benefits of this new society, which is governed on democratic principles. So non-Muslims do not have and should not have any reason to fear that Muslims are trying to take over their country and impose a foreign law of any sort. We've also shown that the Quran is not anti-women and does not demean women, but rather the Quran uplifts the rights and the sanctity and dignity and honor of women. We've shown also that terrorism does not have anything to do with the Quran. This may have more to do with political and geographical disputes between people, and some of the Muslim youth misunderstand the Quran and Islam, and they misrepresent the faith by saying that their acts of terrorism have something to do with Islam. We've shown that while the Quran applies what we might refer to in modern times as a just war theory, the Quran nonetheless is about peace and about safety and justice for all people, especially for non-combatants who cannot in any case be harmed even in a legitimate war. So acts of terrorism that target civilians for political purposes are definitely against the Quran. So we have shown in a nutshell that the claims of the Islamophobes are really bogus claims, and people really need to come back to the source of the Islamic faith, the Quran itself, and talk to real Muslims on the ground to recognize that Islam is not about all of those fears that the Islamophobes have been trying to stir up in the minds of non-Muslims, and that the real person on the ground is a lovable individual who is either your workmate, your classmate, or your good neighbor.
Yeah, I think the point was that Islam is not very different from other religions in the sense that it's not worse, it's not immoral compared to other religions. And Muslims too are just like other people. They're good and bad.
Yes, at least we've tried to achieve that understanding. Obviously, Muslims will insist that Islam is one of the best things that ever happened in their own lives and for humanity in general. But we don't need to go that far. We just need to help non-Muslims to understand, in the light of Islamophobic comments and criticisms, that in fact Islam is like any other religion and Muslims are like any other people. At least if people can get across the idea that Muslims are normal people, then they may respond to Muslims in a better way. And of course, we're happy to know that the vast majority of Americans and Canadians do see Muslims as ordinary people, just like them, having the same hopes and aspirations, wanting a good family, a stable life, a reasonable income, good neighbors. This is what Muslims share with other people.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir Ali.
You're welcome.